if you try to fathom this whole human trafficking, sex trafficking thing, it's just so unbelievable.
Yeah.
That for me, I gotta just, I gotta do something.
Right.
You get some people together that are creative and artistic and driven and they want to make good movies, that's cool. But when you can do something and have it partner with organizations like Worthwhile Wear, then, obviously it's art that's having an impact.
The other producers and I, we really wanted to make a film that addressed the issue of human trafficking in America. A lot of people know about the problem globally, but I think most of us aren't truly aware of how big of a problem it is right here in the United States. It's a fictional story, but we wanted the elements of that story to be true to life. So we partnered with Dan Emmer and his organization, Worthwhile Wear. They're on the front lines, they know what's going on out there. A woman who had come to be an extra to help us out, she talked to one of our producers, John, and said, I wanted to be a part of this. I'm so glad you're doing this. My daughter had been caught up in human trafficking. I heard what you guys were doing, and I wanted to do whatever I could to help. So John said, you know what, I'd love it if you could tell the crew what you just told me.
We were ignorant to the problem. We were ignorant to the fact that this could happen to everyday all-American families. My heart is so full to see people out here who are helping to get the story out, and they haven't been personally affected. Thank you. Bottom of my heart.
We wanted to show you some behind-the-scenes footage, but we also wanted to take the chance to talk about human trafficking in America. What is it? What are the signs that we can look for? And what can we do about it?
A lot of times we think about it as an overseas issue, an over there issue. But the reality is that it does happen overseas and it happens in large scope over there, but it is something that happens very much so here in the U.S. Trafficking is not so much based on economics, but it's more based on girls looking for acceptance, even guys looking for acceptance. And so traffickers prey on this. It's happening in schools, it's happening in malls, it's happening around you. Traffickers first identify a girl that looks vulnerable. They then approach them with usually a handsome, attractive guy who tells the girl that they love them, that the girl is beautiful, and that they want to be with them.
Her dad is in law enforcement. He's a federal agent. I'm a school nurse here in town. We're professional people, active parents. She did end up meeting a boy in her junior year of high school. He was a few years older than my daughter. Her brothers knew him from high school. So we felt like we had a little handle on it. He said, yes ma'am, yes sir, thank you so much. I love your daughter. I'll follow your rules. All of a sudden by New Year's, a little after New Year's, Hannah's attitude flipped on a dime. She became abusive in her language, aggressive. She continued to go to school. She continued to hold her job, her legitimate job in a restaurant here in town. She was a hostess and a busser. We would go to her restaurant on Sundays just to see her, make sure she was okay. Her boyfriend would be sitting in a car, waiting for her, sunk down in the seat, waiting to pick her up.
Then the next thing is the girls are often bought many things that they like and things that they typically couldn't afford. Eventually this turns to that the guy says, I can't afford to do this anymore and I need your help. Could you do one thing for me and sell yourself?
I said, well, then tell me what it is. I'm like, what is a trick roll? What are you talking about, Hannah? I called my husband in the room. He said, you know, this is too close, being in law enforcement, this is too close to prostitution, too close to the world of vice. Let me call the head of vice, Lieutenant Hughes. He called her. She asked him a bunch of questions, you know, to see if maybe it was real. Every question she asked, he had an answer that made her say, check, check, check. Her clothing, her bruises, her tattoo, different signs that I have learned now to look for, we were saying yes to, but we didn't know what they had meant. Individually, they were just a rebellious teenager getting a tattoo at 16, 17. So they came over, had that meeting. And when they came over, they had a big 3-inch binder with her boyfriend's name on it. And they just, described and told me about, grooming process and how the Romeo pimp works, it's called.
They're gonna ship Judah out in the morning. She can go to Atlanta, Dubai, Malaysia. Really doesn't make a difference. You're never gonna see her again.
Traffickers then move the girls far from home, moving them away from their support system. This is when oftentimes traffickers will try to get a girl even arrested once, or will abuse them and start to show them that they have no worth and that no one cares for them except the trafficker. This trauma bonding often forms without girls even knowing it. They get involved in trafficking or being exploited, not even realizing that they're a victim.
They said, well, last night she was arrested, she's sitting in jail. I said, what? They said she was arrested down on the strip, soliciting a police officer. I said, well, she didn't call me. My baby was arrested in jail, 18, and she hadn't called home. Now I know that these men basically steal this relationship and this position in a girl's life away from their families. They steal the position of caretaker, of nurturer. They don't nurture, but they steal the position away. He is who she called. He didn't bail her out. It's part of the process of the manipulation. I'm learning, and I have learned, that these guys want these girls arrested at least once. It's a tool that they use. Okay, when they do finally come out, you are a prostitute. See, it's real now. It's on paper. Your family doesn't want you back. No other guy's gonna want you. Stick with me, baby. I'm gonna be your daddy. It's just one more twist of the knife in their back. The signs that we were missing started with her low self-esteem. It makes them an identifiable target to pimps.
One of the things we learned doing research for this film is that anyone can be a victim of human trafficking. But having said that, there are people and groups that are especially vulnerable.
We set up a plan, and within about a month, they had enough to make a case against her pimp. After a long legal process, he did cop a plea to attempted pandering. Pandering is the crime in Nevada. We're trying to change that to sex trafficking. Trying to get bills passed in the Nevada legislature. Basically, it's gonna help the victims become survivors. It's gonna give law enforcement better tools to help investigate these pimps. It's going to give tougher sentences for the pimps, but the law on the books now is pandering. They were in my house. Lieutenant Hughes, Karen Hughes, and Detective Boffman gave me the best advice of my life as a parent. I need to know how to help my daughter and what the next step is. And they said, slow down, Mama. What you need to do is love your daughter. Love her. Don't ever stop loving her. Accept her back. And so what I would say to other girls is we are out here ready to just accept you. You don't have to be fixed. You don't have to explain what has happened to us. Just know we're here. There's people here, your families, other people who are willing to help, and we understand what has happened to you, and we will help you regain control of your lives.
I'm Judah. I know what you've been through. I've been there myself.
There are organizations like Worthwhile Wear and others that are providing safe houses for girls, both internationally and domestically. The ranch was one of those safe houses where girls could come and get restored.